What's going on, yoga teachers and leaders? It's your girl Abiola Akani, and today you're going to be learning why you should stop trying to succeed as a yoga entrepreneur. Welcome back, yoga teachers and leaders. If this is your first time seeing my face, it's a pleasure to have you here. My name is Abiola Akani. I am the founder of the EOL Yoga School. I'm a 3 times yoga business owner, as well as a yoga teacher trainer and a coach. I support yoga entrepreneurs and high-achieving career women with breaking all of the rules to quantum leap into your desired identity, to lead authentically, free of performance and perfectionism. And today you're going to be learning how to release the pressure to succeed and begin to build a thriving yoga and wellness business your way. Now, as a yoga entrepreneur for almost a decade now, I've experienced massive successes as well as some massive losses. I've had 5-figure launches. I've hosted sold out retreats. I've secured $10,000 corporate yoga contracts and so much more. I've also lost a $60,000 government contract this year. I've had canceled yoga retreats and have had prolonged seasons where I've brought in absolutely $0. The one thing that remained consistent when I was experiencing these successes and these losses was I was constantly striving for success, and as a result, experiencing severe levels of burnout, no matter if I was succeeding or if I was losing. And after coaching my clients and what I'm going to be sharing with you today, as well as applying these principles to myself and to my business to finally release the pressure to succeed, I know for a fact that these principles work, and I know that they will work for you when you apply them with conviction and intention. Now let's get into these 5 principles. The first principle to support you in releasing the pressure to succeed and really cultivating and building your yoga business the non-performative way is to cultivate a greater state of worthiness. What I mean by that is if your worthiness is attached to your productivity or your work, you will constantly find yourself experiencing severe levels of burnout and subconsciously experiencing this pressure to succeed because you attach your worth to your work. And so you're going to be over-efforting and overworking to prove to yourself that you're worthy of the success that you are experiencing. I was falling victim to this paradigm, looping through this level of samskara, this type of suffering, where I was constantly hustling and efforting my way to success with this invisible load or pressure on my back because I believed that my worthiness was attached to what I was able to produce. And so in order to be consistent with that belief, I had to constantly overwork, overperform, and over-effort everything that I was doing in order to feel worthy enough for the success that I was receiving. What you want to do is detach your worth from your work. Discern that your worthiness is because you are. It's not attached to your productivity. It's not attached to what you are producing, period. That is it. So that you can finally normalize seasons and periods of rest and give yourself respite while you are creating and cultivating your desired reality and building your business. This is something that I consistently teach to a lot of my clients who are high achieving career women or yoga entrepreneurs who find themselves burned out, know that you are worthy because you exist. Principle number 2 is to focus on your zone of genius. What that does is it activates your parasympathetic nervous system because you are actually creating from greater states of pleasure as opposed to creating from states of survival. I saw this the most when I first started my yoga business in 2016 with Trap Vinyasa, which was a body positive hip hop yoga practice that I created. I was completely in my zone of genius with that offering. I leaned into my area of interest, and as a result, that mushroomed out into an area of expertise, allowed me to cultivate a niche where I was then able to extend offerings to my clientele based on the niche that I had created as a yoga instructor. You have natural interests. Continue to follow your interests, and from that place, develop a level of expertise. And from there, what begins to happen is you cultivate a niche that you're then able to sell your offerings to, because they're already bought into what you're sharing. They're already bought into your unique story and your zone of genius because it's so personalized. So continue to focus on your zone of genius, and that's going to help release that pressure to succeed that tends to come when you are not really clear on your interests or on your expertise. The more you try to duplicate, the more you're gonna feel a lot of pressure. So release the pressure, focus in on your zone of genius. Principle number 3 piggybacks off of the zone of genius, but it's gonna focus a little bit more on utilizing proven systems and format to support you when it comes to building the foundations of your business. This is where you are not going to be reinventing the wheel, because that's going to create so much unnecessary pressure, and it's not required. When it comes to building a successful business, there's already systems and formats out there, child. Utilize proven systems and formats that help you take the guesswork out of building your business. When I started my business, there was so much unnecessary busy work that I was constantly doing. Even now, I'm still refining by leaning into the proven systems and formats that I know work. It's important for you to stay inspired and creatively source. There's different systems that can support you. There's business systems. There's also systems and practices that support you when it comes to activating your manifestation power, which is necessary as an entrepreneur and a business owner as well. I utilize a sadhana practice every single morning to encapsulate intentional practices that support me in activating my manifestation power and reprogramming my subconscious mind. Subconscious reprogramming work has activated my manifestation power tenfold, and it's what I've also continued to coach my clients through them to experience success when it comes to building strength in their bodies and creating their desired reality in their personal and their professional lives. Now, if you're really struggling with activating your manifestation power to create your desired reality and move the needle forward in your business, I'd like to invite you to my Magnetic Mornings Masterclass. Within this masterclass, I'm going to be laying out the ultimate morning routine to support you in activating your manifestation power. Because when it comes to embodying that soft life, it doesn't just happen. That comes from very specific systems and practices that support you in embodying the highest version of yourself. And that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in this free masterclass. So click the link in my bio to join us, and let's get back to our last 2 principles. Now, principle number 4 is non-performative leadership. Non-performative yoga is recovery-based yoga to deeply support you with nervous system regulation. Non-performative leadership is about authentic leadership, being connected, deeply connected in your body. Because you'll find that when you are putting on the persona of the yoga teacher or falling victim to perfectionism and performance, a lot of the times you end up being disconnected from your body, as opposed to really embodying your authentic expression. The less connected you are to your vessel, the more this infiltration of pressure comes on, because you're trying to duplicate what you are seeing instead of just being yourself. The more that you can stay connected to your vessel, the more authentic you are going to be, which is going to allow you to cultivate a greater connection with your audience, because you're present with yourself, you're present with your body, and you're present with your audience in a way that they can really feel and relate to. So continue to lead authentically. And the best way to do that is to stay connected to your own body. Principle number 5, and the final principle, is to just decide. What I mean by that is you want to decide that you get to be successful and that it gets to be easy for you. The more that you can actually decide, just decide that success gets to be easy for you, the more that you actually quantum shift in an entirely different reality. Because if you're experiencing a pressure to succeed right now, you are abiding in a reality that's conducive to that belief system and the emotions that it produces. Once you decide and shift and move your mind to the belief that I get to be successful and it gets to be easy and pleasurable for me, you're literally shifting into a different reality, a reality where you get to experience the ease of success. And as a result, the feelings and the emotional state that is going to come as a result of that thought is going to be completely different. Not only that, the actions that you are going to be spurred to take from that belief shift are going to be completely different. Worthiness is no longer going to be a question mark. It's going to become an exclamation point, because you're shifting into a different reality. And what yoga continuously teaches us is that there's different realities happening at all times. What you're doing is you're moving and shifting your mind to experience the reality that you desire. This is why your morning practice or your sadhana practice is so important, because your dominant emotions, the emotions that you feel in the morning, are not a default setting. You get to choose what your dominant emotions will be. And the more that you can train your mind to move towards that of your desired reality, the more that you're going to experience more desirable thoughts, words, actions, and deeds, which is a karmic response that is going to support you experiencing more positive karma. So you want to begin to decide, just decide today, right now, that you get to experience success in a way that is easy and pleasurable. It wasn't until I decided it gets to be easy for me, it gets to be pleasurable for me, that I completely diffused severe levels of burnout that I was consistently experiencing for years. So you want to begin to move your mind. A decision is moving your mind. So just decide right now that it gets to be easy. You can diffuse the pressure and the burnout of building a successful yoga business by applying these principles with conviction and intention. Now, if this video resonated for you, definitely let me know what specific principle stood out for you the most in the comments below. Also, if you are looking for a culturally relevant yoga teacher training to support you in leading masterful and accessible yoga classes and workshops outside of the traditional yoga studio model to bring the practice of yoga back to vulnerable populations, definitely click the link to learn a little bit more about our yoga teacher training, hear from our past graduates, and learn a little bit more about what sets us apart. And if it resonates, you can go ahead and apply. I'll see you real soon with a new video, and continue to be well.